Grand Rising Soul Tribe, Tracy here with Sweet Spot e-magazine. Thank you so very much for the likes, shares, views, subscribes, comments, donations, everything. I appreciate it all. We're going to ring the bell. We're going to clear out this energy, and then we're going to see what the message the Spirit has for us this morning. Give me 1 second. Let me just do this real quick. Okay. Okay. All right. You know how somebody will, um, how somebody will, it's almost like they're afraid to speak up. Um, and then at some point, something happens that makes this person snap out of it. I feel like that's what's happening. Somebody is snapping out of it. Hola, Marcia. How are you? Hey, Galactic Goddess. It's like they finally, the only thing I can think to say is they're finally waking up to their own power. I feel like this person was timid and was afraid to say something. But when we're children, we're told to stay in our place like children. And then when we become adults, sometimes it takes a minute before we realize we are adults. I feel like somebody's realizing they're an adult. Hey, K Hypsee. Bottom of the deck. Into me, I see. Someone is finally realizing who they are on the inside. No longer that little kid anymore. They're all grown up. It's like coming into your own, growing into your own, as they would say. And now they're open to listening to what someone else has been trying to tell them. Somebody is finally taking a higher view. And I feel like they're taking this higher view because you know what, they're putting the pieces together. They're not just taking what someone says and somebody said this and this is it. This is just the way to go. No, they are putting the pieces together. They're realizing the path that's correct or right for them. Hey, Mac and Dave, to you. Yes, somebody has had to tell somebody, like not so much of a story like a lie, but they've had to learn about a situation. They've had to gather the backstory. That's what it is. They've had to put the pieces together. They only had a certain amount of information, and now they are getting other pieces of this information and they're putting it together to create the whole puzzle. Now they can see the big picture, not just what somebody wanted them to see. This person now, they feel like they realize they had to save themselves. They had to heal their own heart because nobody else was going to be there to do it. And in order for them to do it, they had to let people, places, situations go. But them letting those people, places, and situations go has released this beautiful uncaging of their locked heart. When you finally realize the answers, or you finally worked out that mathematical problem and you did this equation and this equation and this equation and this equation to get to this answer. You're so proud of yourself because it's like you were able to put it all together. You were able to, like, they derived something. Then they realized something was a derivative of something else. But they're so proud of themselves for being able to open their own heart. They didn't need special permission. They didn't need someone coming in riding on a horse. They didn't need to rely on anyone else to do what they needed to do for themselves. And now they are finding that they have their own power of purpose, like what they need to do with this information. Now that they have this information, where they need to go, where they need to be, who they need to talk to, almost like somebody felt like, okay, now that I understand my own power, now I'm not going to shy away from putting somebody else in their place or telling someone else, hey, you don't go there. Hey, Shaylin. Yes, this person is finally woken up to their own power, their own strength, their own courage. They're no longer feeling timid and small on the inside any longer. Now this person is taking control of their own life. They're able to see past the smoke and the mirrors because you know what? They finally started listening. They finally started looking at everything. They weren't afraid to think past what someone else told them. Somebody else just told them this little bit, but there is this much that somebody else didn't say. And in fear, they only went right there because still on the inside, they were that small little kid. Confirmation, but they don't feel like that little kid anymore. Now they feel like an adult. They are ever so thankful. Not only are they thankful, but they realize where they need to show gratitude. For a while, it was like this, while they were going through this transition, I had all of these negative thoughts still swirling around in their mind, and they were still allowing themselves to listen to some negativity or some lies or manipulation coming from someone else. And finally, they had to quiet their own mind because they had to get in alignment so that they could see. This person is finally able to hug themselves and acknowledge to themselves, job well done. They no longer need someone else to tell them, you can do this, you can do that, don't do this, don't do that. They're no longer there. They no longer need that permission, like I said. It's almost like something magical happened to them. Hey, Sunny, how are you? Yes, somebody, like I said, they are awakening to, they had the answer all along. It's just that they didn't listen to themselves. And now they're ready to be in perfect harmony with themselves, with another, but they're in perfect harmony with themselves because they know who they are. They finally know who they actually are. They realized that they were stuck in some sort of matrix. And they realized that they were going along with someone else's plan, somebody else's plan that was designed to keep them stuck. It's almost like somebody was doing research on the internet so that they can find the answers that they needed, as opposed to listening to one person who didn't have the answers at all. And even if that person did have the answers, that person was not willing to share that information, that knowledge, that wisdom with this person. That person did not want them to know that they now have the power. They had to love themselves. That was where they needed to start. Not only did they have to love themselves, they had to realize who they were and their path, their purpose. They had to realize what they are meant to do while they're here, this go around. I feel like somebody has been watching you excel, exceed, advance, ascend. And for them, it's like they wanted to follow in those footsteps because they know that they are like you. You have this gift. You exude this power. You exude this courageousness within you that they see that people are afraid to come up against you because they know that you're going to win. It's like you're not afraid and you refuse to back down to anyone. And it doesn't make a difference who that person is. You are not afraid to back down. This person finally allowed themselves to open up their heart, to open up the possibility that they too have gifts. Hey, Curtis, how are you? Thank you so very much. I appreciate all of that. And just like everything is now flowing together, like that grand symphony, everything is flowing together. You know how you go to a concert and the music just goes together. The drums sound when they are meant to sound. The trumpets play when they're meant to play. The piano, the cymbals, everything, it's all in one. It's a grand symphony. It creates such a beautiful sound. Confirmation. And this person now, it's like as they step into their power, as they proudly walk down the street, as they feel good about themselves for the first time. Like I said, this person is finally realizing, I am the adult and I want my life to be the way that I want it to be. Who they are is finally shining through. And they realize that they may be in this world, but they truly are not of this world. So with a deep breath and no longer feeling nervous and scared and allowing those thoughts to overcome them. What am I going to do? What is this person going to say? How is this person going to feel? What are they going to act like? What are they worrying about with somebody else? They just took a deep breath. and they decided to plow through and leave everything where it is. It is what it is because they had to work on themselves, and someone else or this group of people that was trying to control them, they have to work on themselves because you can only save one. And they decided to save them. This person, they wanted to know the truth. They prayed for the truth, and the truth was revealed. They didn't realize when the truth was revealed what a powerful move that was going to be for them. Because then that's when that person realized it's time for them to travel alone. This is a singular journey. They can't pull anybody else. They can't drag anybody else. They can't talk anybody else into coming with them. In fact, the only way for them to be as powerful as they are is if they traveled alone. Now, they finally found that key that unlocked their own heart. That key that not just unlocked their own heart, but it allowed them to fill their heart up with love for themselves. They finally feel like they love themselves. No longer looking for acceptance from anyone else. No longer worrying about what anyone else had to say, think, or do. Because nobody else could make them feel any other way from here on out. As long as they know how they feel about themselves, it doesn't make a difference how anyone else feels about that situation. This person was remembering the times whenever someone did some type of earth magic and had them stuck replaying something from the past, stuck in a period of time where as long as this person did this earth magic, as long as they continue to dig this, get this dirt from the graveyard and sprinkle it on them, or sprinkle it on their photos, or dig, put their picture in a jar and bury it under the earth, this person always felt stuck, but no longer, because they were no longer allowing fear to guide them. Hey, Jody, how are you, sweetie? Someone is thinking about a time whenever they were close to you. And they noticed that whenever they were close to you, their life grew. It got better. Everything that they had seemed to flourish. Everything thrived. And that's whenever this person, after they woke up, they realized you were not ordinary. And they realized they weren't ordinary either. Like they say, the apple does not fall far from the tree. This person now realized the gifts that you have, they also have. And they are open to discovering those gifts. And they're willing to release those liars, those miscreants, those people that kept them stuck purposely. They didn't want them to succeed ever. Had it not been for them listening to the sage and sound advice of someone that is an oracle, someone that reads tarot, someone that is a psychic, someone that just knows, they would have never, ever been able to understand about this rose's kiss. Although it seems so sweet, but it has thorns. And this person was realizing that they were being stuck by these thorns. And that kiss was not even a kiss that they wanted to accept any longer, because that kiss was tainted with poison. This person had to heal their body and especially their soul, and understand that there are endless possibilities for them, for their direction in life, for what they can acquire, not just the tangible things to acquire, but the spiritual things, what they can build, how they can grow, what they can do. This person was finally able to look beyond any given situation and see the truth. What's the message, Spirit? A powerful move. Someone knows that what they have to do. I just heard they know they have to burn it all down. They got to let it all go. And in order for them to let it all go, they have to burn it down. Someone has a match, and they're about to burn that motherfucker down. Fire. Fire. Come on, say fire. Fire. What's the message? Those are all the words I know. Just that one. Yes. This person feels like it was a miracle. It was almost like they wanted to say it was magical, but it was really, truly a God-given miracle that this person finally has awakened to the genius within them. And like I said, now they are in perfect harmony. This person, they feel so much better. It's like this person, I see this person with their hands raised, like, thank you, God. Because they know that what they're doing is they are bearing fruit. They're in a position where now they are listening more so than just reacting. Before, they were just being reactive, doing what they felt somebody else wanted them to do. But now that they're past that, they know they have to let this liar go, because whoever told them, whoever instructed them, whoever gave them the information that they needed to know, pointed out this liar, pointed them out, and pointed out exactly how they were doing it. They could have got upset. They could have got mad, but they didn't. They just decided, hey, it is what it is. And they're going to even let that play out. However someone else receives the karma for their own deeds, they're not going to get involved. They have to let everyone save themselves, because they saw the writing on the wall that the ship was sinking. And there was only one life vest. Were they going to give it to the person who was lying to them, or were they going to save themselves? And they decided, no more pledging allegiance to someone who didn't pledge to you. They weren't even going to try and let this person hold this person up if they had the life vest on. They were going to let that person sink, because in actuality and factuality, they realized that other person, that liar, was allowing them to sink slowly and didn't give a fuck. They had to look past that. They had to worry about their own heart. And they had to act with intention. What's the message? What's the message? Anything else from this deck? Thank you. Yes. It wasn't until this person started watching someone on the internet, that's when they found out the little joke. What was supposed to have been funny to everyone else, they didn't feel it was funny to them, because it was their life that was on the line. It was them that was suffering. It was them that was going down with that ship when everyone else was trying to stand on their shoulders so that they could get higher ahead. And they never reached down. They never reached back to say, here, grab my hand. They were just like, let me stand on your shoulders some more. This is when this person finally woke up. Wait a minute. It's either them or it's me. And I'm not going to go down with this ship whenever I was not the one steering it. Let me turn this little heater off. Bottom of the deck. Yes, the world. Like I said, someone was feeling the pressure of the world, the weight of the world on their shoulders. And they had to make a decision. It was either them or it was me. That's why somebody said, I gotta burn this motherfucker to the ground. Someone needs to come. And not that they want to come. This person feels like they need to come and apologize to you. Because you know what? You stood your ground. You knew your worth. She's got her hands on her hips. She stood her ground. She knew her worth. She doesn't look like she's playing. She don't look like she's taking nobody's bullshit. She don't look like she even need anybody to save her, because she's already saved herself. This is why this person needed to come and apologize. They need to make things right, because they know that since whatever happened, their life has not been the same. They have been depressed. Hey, Dawana, sorry. I need to clean up my screen. Hey, Revelation Gods, how are you? Hey, Ayana, how are you? This person has been depressed. You know, because this person, it's like they see you and they see that your star is so bright. It's like this is you. Like whatever you do, you are meant to be a star. Your name is meant to be in lights. And they know that they cannot stop this. They shouldn't have been jealous of this. They shouldn't be envious of this. They should support this because you're living in your purpose. You're doing what God wants you to do. So this person, they see your name in lights as you do whatever it is that you need to do. This person now is awakened that you know what? You are the truth teller. You say it however it needs to be said. You ain't trying to sugarcoat it. You ain't trying to soften it. Hey, Latasha. Hey, Malcolm. You ain't trying to dumb it down. You ain't trying to do nothing. But you get the message out. This person is finally awakened because they had that judgment call. They had that realization where reality slapped them in the face. They know that, you know what, they had their wish fulfillment when they were with you. Life was going the way it should whenever they were with you. They were receiving dharma when they were with you. And without you, this person noticed a big difference. They thought that those people that they were hanging around, listening to, following blindly, like they didn't even have a mind, they realized that whatever was coming in, and nobody was there to help them. Nobody cared. Nobody cared that if they needed some assistance, they had to handle that by themselves. This person finally had to go within. They had to get real with themselves. Not only did they get real with themselves, but they realized that they also have a gift too. They realized that the birds of a feather really do need to flock together. And they were a bird hanging around a bunch of hyenas. They had to let this magician and this magician's lies go. It's like they had to, just open their heart to the truth, but close their heart to a liar, as opposed to it being the opposite way around. Because they knew they knew that this person was no good. Every time this person told them to do some dumb fuck shit and they did it, like they were the ones who had to deal with the repercussions of those actions. And they're wondering why would their life kept going down and down and down, because they kept allowing somebody else who was jealous, who was envious, who was ignorant, who was dumb or whatever, to guide them in the wrong way. This person had to finally wake up like, what the fuck am I truly doing? Why am I allowing this low-life motherfucker with the worst advice ever to tell me how to live my life when this motherfucker don't even have a fucking life? That's when someone realized misery loves company. This person finally listened to spirit. And spirit had to ask them, Have you had enough yet? Or do you need some more? Hi, get some sleep. Huh? Are you the same as fresh from a nap? Ah. Hey, Angela. Hey, Angel Light. How are you? Angel Light Tarot, welcome. Hi, the soul archetype. Yeah, Spirit had to ask them, are you tired yet? Or do you want some more? You know, I feel like this person, they wanted to reach out, but for whatever reason, like they were stopped. They were hesitant. And it's because that person, they 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 knew that they didn't make a wise decision. They didn't choose who they needed to be with. It was a choice. And this person didn't choose wisely at this time. That's what stopped them from reaching out. Not just that, but it was some warlock. This warlock was telling them that no, no, you don't need to worry about this empress. Like they was filling this person's head with all this negative bullshit about the empress. They told this person that, in order for them to reach some level of in society, they needed to do this fuck shit to have just money. That's all they needed to worry about was money, 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 money. But this person realized the more they only concentrated on money, the worse off they became. The more they allowed themselves to be stuck in the muck and in the mire. It's almost like this person had to finally see for themselves that these acts, how they were trying to control a situation, how they were trying to go into battle with a situation, it was just hurting them. And they were looking at you, and you know what? You weren't even the same, but yet they were looking at you, and you just got better. You gained victory. No matter what they tried, it's like you ducked, you moved, you bobbed, you weaved. And it's like whatever they were trying to do, they couldn't, nothing could break you down. This is what this person really started noticing. No matter what they did, it was not breaking you down. They realized that they were stabbing themselves in the back. They were making themselves sink. They weren't hurting you. They were just hurting them. But yet they were so intent on listening to what this demonic energy had to say, what this warlock was telling them the best way to go. And then they had to realize, wait a minute. This warlock don't have shit. What the fuck am I listening to this motherfucker for? So intent on giving to the wrong type of energy. It's like at some point this person felt like they needed to hold back. They needed to put some distance, some time, some space. They needed to hold things in. They needed to not jump on every situation that somebody said, okay, now go do this. Now do that. Now do this. Now do that. They needed to just hold that back because they realized they were the only one that was suffering. They started praying. They started praying because they started feeling like they were drowning. And they remember watching you pray. They remember listening to you talk about you need to pray. Ask God. God will show you. Just do what you feel is right. You know, they started remembering those things. And you had said those things a while ago. But now, you know, it's like, and they thought, you know, they didn't have to really listen. That, you know, it was just some talk that you were saying. But now they see that that wasn't just talk, that was actual, and it was factual. They also happened to notice that there was a group of bullies that will bully you. And you were just by yourself. They would bully you to the point where they wanted to try and knock you off your square. Oh, they need to be humbled. They need to be brought down to size. They need to be knocked off their square. And this was family. This was family saying that. And they realized they were saying it against this earth angel. But no matter what they did, it just didn't seem to work out. It just didn't seem to make you stop. It just didn't seem to make you shudder or quiver or stop or cry or anything. You know, you may have been surprised a time or two, but it was like you picked yourself right back up and you kept going because you knew the way in which you needed to go. You was already free. The truth had already set you free, and spirit was already protecting you. So this is why this person finally woke up like, no matter what I do, it's not hurting them, it's only hurting me. Not just that, but whenever they really sat back and they started looking at you, listening to you, thinking about you, everything that you had said to them was from love. It wasn't bitterness. It wasn't jealousy. It wasn't no get back. It wasn't no watch me do this. It wasn't no hold my beard or nothing like that. It was out of love. Everything that you said to this person was out of love. You even talked to them about the difference of things that they can notice how people love and how somebody's not loving and how they needed to love themselves because that was where it needs to start. This person, when they had their fill, that's when they were ready to leave this life behind. Because their home was going to shit and shreds. Hey, Gigi Straight, how are you? Hey, James, how are you? They realized how their life, their stability was going down, how their money wasn't making sense, and it sure the fuck wasn't funny no more. And they realized who they were working with. And they started looking at the people around them too. And that's whenever everything became clear. Everything became clear because it was nothing that these people were talking about that made sense any longer. It was all, you know, like these secrets. Everybody had secrets against each other. Everybody was this person. They was all one group, all one family, all one coven. But this one was telling secrets about this one. This one was telling secrets about this one. This one was telling secrets about this one, and so forth and so on. And so there was no cohesion. It was just a group of enemies that were trying to stick together to try to bring an earth angel down. They even had told this person to forget about their past, you know, things that this person clearly remembers how you were there, But for whatever reason, this person was talked out of that memory. Like, oh no, that really never happened. That didn't happen. Oh no, it wasn't even like that. Oh, you don't know the truth about that. But this person knew the truth. They was there with you. They was in the trenches with you. And how dare this person sit here and discount everything that you did, everything that you taught, everything that you said, everything that you tried to help them with. How dare them? And this is what brought this person to shame. This is when this person realized that it was time for them to end all of this bullshit. And they had to leave, not just this emperor, they had to leave these flying motherfucking monkeys too. And whenever they left, they had some, it was like this person was angered. They were bitter. At first they wanted to get back at somebody. But when they started thinking about it, they said, no, that's not what you did. So that's not what they're going to do. They found the best way to protect themselves. And the best way to protect themselves was just to leave that situation, leave it all behind, allow spirit to guide them in the direction that they needed to go. This witch even tried to lie to them one last time, even tried to tell them something one last time, but they finally used their discernment with this witch, and they realized that they had to leave that completely alone, because this witch was definitely trying to bring calamity to their life. It's like this witch was the one who would, I'm hearing shots fired. They would say something. It's like that word magic. They would say this word magic. And so it's almost like somebody had to finally get to the place where they just completely ignored it. If somebody called them on the phone, they didn't answer the phone, and they didn't even listen to the message, because they realized all that witch needed to do was get them to hear those words, and they will be right back at square one. Something about this person finally realizing that they were so immature in and realizing that their gifts, the gifts that they had, but as they finally grew up on the inside, now this person understands the true gift that they have. They finally grew up. What's the message? Yes. Them receiving judgment, they feel like that was the best thing that they could have ever done. It's like this person finally feel like they have awakened, and they're glad that God finally asked them, have you had enough, or do you need some more? They finally realized the strength that they had. They had it all along. They was just too timid. They was allowing fear to rule them. They was allowing other people to tell them which way they needed to go, and those people had no idea, because it wasn't their life, and those people didn't care if they made the wrong mistake. If something blew up in their face, because something blew up in their face, they had to find out the wrong way, the hard way, that when something blew up in their face, then somebody was like, well, damn, you should have known you should have known better. Well, motherfucker, I was listening to you. They finally got the strength to leave the devil. They finally got the strength to leave that devil, and that could have been that family, because the truth was out and they knew that they had to protect themselves. They couldn't listen to those people anymore. Those people didn't care. They was just there to keep unalive, steal, and divide. That was it. All because they didn't want this person to be with you. That was it. And they really knew that they had to protect themselves against this witch. They had to allow themselves to not even listen to what that witch was saying, because they knew, they finally knew the truth. Everything was clear. They finally knew the truth. Everything was clear. They started watching everybody else go through theirs to get their karma. Everything that these people were on spiritual lockdown. It's like they had created situations that they could not get out of. You know? Just like this, they would sit there and say that, that they were praying to God, but somebody had to realize they weren't actually praying to the God that you and I know. They were trying to do some type of word magic, because they didn't want this person to realize their gifts. They didn't want this person to realize that they too were gifted. They wanted this person to stay around so that they could go ahead and be like some energy vampire and suck the life out of them. Because what it was is they were using this person's love. They were using this person's heart. They were using this person's like energy. What's the message, Spirit? I feel like something big happened. I don't know what, but something big happened that let them, something big happened that they found out the hard way. When they needed somebody in return, they found out the hard way. Nobody was there. Nobody was trying to assist them, and then they even said, well, we'll pray for you. And that person even got scared and was like, no, because I don't know what type of prayer you're going to pray. And they're sitting here thinking about how they cut you out, how they left you alone. How come how they didn't see what you were talking about? And like I said, this person, they wanted to come, they wanted to talk to you, but yet they were being told to stand down, because they knew they had chose wrong. And ever since they made that wrong decision, all they could think about was you. That was it. All they could think about was you. What's the message, Spirit? They realized this emperor, that was no emperor. That was the devil in disguise. They knew that person, that emperor that was no emperor, had them, knew that they would secretly could have them do some of the stupidest shit because of how this person, it's almost like this could have been somebody, a father or a grandfather or uncle, somebody that they looked up to, And that person, that emperor who was not an emperor, was an emperor reverse, knew that that person had this soft spot in their heart for them. And that's the one who would sit out and say, do this, go do that. No, you don't need to be around this person. No, you don't need to be around that person. Like they're trying to ruin and control their life at the same fucking time. This is whenever somebody, and they didn't realize what was going on until it was almost too late. This person was on the path of losing everything that they had built up with you. This person was having them go on a downward trajectory and didn't give a shit. Did not care 1 ounce what happened. And no matter what this emperor in reverse tried to do with you, they could never get it done because you were always protected and you always transmuted that negative energy. This is what somebody had to realize. That no matter how many times they came after you, you could hold your own. You was able to protect yourself. You was able to physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, emotionally protect yourself. You told this person everything. You said, hey, use your discernment of spirits when it comes to those people. But see, somebody didn't listen because they was like, oh, that's my family. Only to find out that your family was fucking you up the most. What's the message, Spirit? All out of jealousy. All because they wanted what you had. And you know what? You may not have had a lot of physical things. And what they truly wanted was your gifts. They didn't want people to see you in a positive light. They didn't want you to ever to reach, the pinnacle or the mountain or where you were supposed to go, because they felt so bad about them. They didn't want you to look like you was outshining them. No matter what you did, you always outshone those people. They was coming around and they had this car and this house and these jewels and this money, and they was traveling here and going there and doing this and doing that, purposely leaving you out. But whenever you showed up, you still showed up. It was your heart. It was what was inside of you. And they wanted this person to be just as jealous like they were of you. That was the only way they figured that they could get at you. They tried everything to make your light go out. But it was nothing that they was going to do that could extinguish your light. Nothing could extinguish it. In fact, the more you grew spiritually, the more you relied only on God to provide you with everything that you needed, the brighter your light got. And that's what really upset them. This person has been thinking a while about how they need to come towards you. Hey, Kenta, how are you? Hey, Create, how are you, sweetie? Hello, Wing Seer, how are you? They needed to come and apologize for trying to take you out. And this person wants to tell you how they definitely received their justice, how they received that karma, and how they're still stuck in this karmic cycle because they're afraid that it's not over. But they want to give you your flowers. They want to tell you how you showed them what it is to be independent. You showed them what it was to rely on God and have faith. You showed them what it was, what it meant to be an earth angel and to speak the truth and to let the chips lie wherever they lie. Because it was the truth that was setting you free. That's what this person finally realized, what freedom truly is. And it's not what they thought. They thought being able to come and go as they please, do this and do that. I make my own decisions. I do what I want to do. That's not freedom. That this person had to realize that, yes, they all have free will, but depending on what you do with that free will, you may never be free. Bottom of the deck. This Queen of Wands. This Queen of Wands and a younger Son of Baskets. This is the one who would sit there and just talk to somebody to get them to act the way that they wanted. This is where this person had to say, you know what, I can't do this any longer. But they had to finally realize, I don't need to talk to this person, because they realized that person was going to get them stuck. It's like somebody was using mirror magic or something, or like I said, that forked tongue. And until somebody finally realized that they were the only one that can save themselves, they weren't going to be able to save themselves. And then they looked at you. And they looked at what you provided. Not only were you an earth angel, not only are you meant to be a star, but you know what? You are a guiding light. This person feels that they needed to they should have been following your light all along. It's like they realize that family, that happy family life, it was with you. And you did it by yourself. You provided for you and them. But whatever it was that you could provide, you did it. You provided. And for some reason, this person felt like it wasn't enough for them to follow you. It wasn't enough for them to open up that door to you. So instead, this person sat there and they ignored you. Now this person is wondering, why would they even ignore you? And they had to finally wake up and have a clue. Like they just said, somebody had a spiritual awakening. They had a spiritual awakening. They realize now how long they have been acting like a fool. They realize that they put so much stock and effort into trying to trip you up. Like they was trying to bully you too. And all you did was lovingly go away. And you just chose you. You chose you. And you left. Even when this person, they were thinking about, when you want to make amends, when you want to atone for your sins, you start to really think about everything that you did, especially whenever you feel the need to apologize to someone. Whenever you feel that you want to make things right with someone, it's like you have to think about everything, because that person remembers everything. How somebody, they were not being true to you, not being true to themselves, and they were trying to come after you. Like if they hurt you somehow, that they was going to get everything that they could ever possibly want or need. This is the lie that they allow themselves to believe, only to find out that those actions had certain reactions, and they were the ones that was out in the cold, feeling the repercussions of those actions. Like I said, this person, they felt it's like they had to feel the weight of the world on their shoulders for them to remember exactly what it was like, exactly who you are, exactly, how you held them down, how you held them up, how you was their rock of Gibraltar. And how you always gave them the love that they needed, the encouragement. Those people, the ones that were gossiping about you, the ones that were lying about you, the ones that were speaking ill on your name, trying to throw this graveyard dirt on you so that nobody wanted to be around you. Though they're getting theirs. They're receiving their justice right now. And it's funny because when this person started watching them to receive their karma, they want to play victim. They want to act like it's too much for them to bear. But it wasn't too much for them to bear when they was doing it to you. It wasn't too much for them to bear whenever they was like, okay, now we need to do this. Hey, touche. So it's funny how they can put something out there, but they're not strong enough to take it back. And these people ganged up against you. They lied. They all got their lie together. Okay, we're going to get our lie together. We're going to be in unison and this and that and the other, because in order for it to be believed, we all have to say the same lie. This is what this person's first clue was. When they said these lies, but they told this person not to tell you. If it's the truth, you don't have a problem sharing it, because I don't. And when I'm speaking the truth, I'm like, yeah, so-and-so said such and such. Tell them that I said it. Tell them I said this. There's nothing wrong with someone who's being truthful. There's nothing wrong with their honesty or their integrity. This person, like I said, they couldn't mess with you. Nobody in that group could fuck with you. Nobody, because if they tried to fuck with you, you was there, your spirit team was there, and they all received judgment. Somebody was trying to just knock everything out of alignment with you. Especially this King of Cups. That King of Cups was there to trip you up. But then whenever that King of Cups started seeing what was coming back for them, then all of a sudden they had to change that tune. Because that's when they started thinking about this group that they had worked with. And these plans that were made. These lies that were told. And then when someone needed to be saved, they needed some help, they needed some assistance, nobody showed up for them. Nobody. That's when they realized that the wheel of fortune was no longer in their favor. Especially like there was somebody that they felt was on their side, somebody that would be their last resort. And they realized that, they weren't the last resort. They weren't even a resort at all. They didn't help them at all. All that person did was come with lies, and alibis. And this emperor, they felt like this emperor had them, like that was a good father figure, good grandfather, somebody like that. But now they're realizing that, you know what? This person was the biggest fucking liar. Would wield that axe and tell the biggest fucking tall tales. You told this person about this father figure. You said the truth. And that's whenever this father figure really got upset, and they really tried to put the screws to you with the 5 of knives, the 5 of swords, the 5 of wands, and the 5 of cups. They really tried to ixnay on the pound fritz, get you to be on the outside. They didn't want nobody to help you. Nobody come to their rescue. Nobody help them. Everything that they say is a lie. You tell everybody that they are a lie. It was like you had people falling away from you left and right. And this person understood exactly what was going on. But yet, and this person even has the proof. But yet, they still came after you. They still tried to attack you. What's the message? There were still those attacks, things that they were saying. Yes, this person found out that this emperor was a hidden enemy to you. That was nobody that even cared for you at all. Not at all. And this is why somebody was told to attack you, to go into battle against you, to attack your relationship. And even whenever this person, they was confused and they didn't do it at first, they was kind of really confused, like, well, why would you want me to do that? But instead of them understanding at this point that they were an adult, they still felt like they was that little child on the inside and couldn't make these adult decisions for themselves. Sometimes you have to just, you can't listen to anybody. You can only listen to yourself. You can only listen to what God wants you to do, because people will fuck you up and not give a flying fuck. This person didn't even question them. They didn't question them until after you decided that you walked away. When you walked away, that's when this person knew the fucking truth. And the truth was somebody had lied on you. These people had worked hard to lie on you, to get you to be discredited. And you were the true empress. The true empress. Like I said, nobody in that group didn't even like you, didn't even love you, none of that shit. And they wanted to end you. That's what they wanted to do. They just wanted to end you. And this person is realizing not only did they want to end you, they wanted to end them too. With the 5 of Swords. They didn't care. They didn't care. This emperor just kept lying. Kept lying. And they're still lying to this day. This is this warlock who's finding out that they are now being found out. They're being left out in the cold because everyone is starting to understand and realize that this was a hidden enemy, that this person had nothing good to say about you and didn't want anything good for you. This is when somebody realized it was up to them to gather the strength to say what the fuck it was that they needed to say to save themselves. They had listened to you and you told them about how someone was trying to get in the middle of their relationship, but they was like, wait, huh? No, I can't be manipulated. While they were being manipulated. This person now realizes that they have to protect themselves against this Queen of Wands because they know she is just a witch. And anything that this queen says, they have to just let it go. Don't answer the phone. Don't talk on the phone. Don't even look at the email. Don't read the text. Just auto delete, auto delete, auto delete. This person had to realize, you know what? That they also had a gift. That they are being judged, and if they keep fucking around, they're gonna lose their angel wings. It's like they were afraid to stand out on their own. They were afraid to be independent. But now they realize they needed to be independent. Independent of thought, independent of action, independent of the deeds that they do. Because no matter what someone else says or does or instructs them to do, it's only a reflection of them. And this person was told to end you. This person finally had, like I said, they woke up when you walked away from them and you took your cup of love with you. That's whenever everything that they put out started coming back to them, and everybody started realizing what a liar they were. Now this person is wondering if they'll ever get another opportunity. If they'll ever get another opportunity. But one thing is, you knew how to fight spiritually. You knew how to protect yourself spiritually. And you won this battle. You won whatever that they was trying to bring to you. This is whenever this person, it's like they went from the Knight of Cups to the King of Cups. It's like because they had to finally, figure out what it was that was going to make them whole, what they really wanted for their life. They finally had to grow up to be from the Knight of Cups to the King of Cups. And I feel like at one point this person was even drinking a lot too. But they found out that drinking was just hurting them. So that's whenever they had to cut this out, because it was like they were trying to block out the heartache and how they had went against you. What's the message, Spirit? Ooh, yeah. Somebody said it was time for them to stop being a fool because everything was burning down. The whole castle was just falling. It was crumbling. Like I said, that ship was sinking. Afloat whenever everybody else is stepping on their shoulders, trying to see how they could get ahead. Let's pull some from the stack. Then I'm gonna have to eat me some lunch, y'all. I'm hungry. Yeah. Somebody had to realize that time was up. You know, it may have been one of their angels that said, hey, there's a new opportunity for you to get your shit together. And you have to leave now. Hey, Tara, how are you? Because Karma and Pandora was there kicking ass, taking name. This could have happened yesterday. What's the message, Spirit? This group that they was involved with, people, and they feel stupid. They feel absolutely positively stupid because of all the truth that you spoke. And they got upset, but they didn't call you a liar. They couldn't call you a liar. They could not call you a liar because you didn't say any lies. You only spoke the truth. You told this person that they needed to grow up, that there was time for them to mature, and they hear you now. They had to say something to this warlock to shock this warlock because this person was finally one with themselves. They finally gained some inner strength. It was no longer about how much they could lift. Yeah, I could bench press 325 with just one arm. I can only bench press 20 pounds, and that's struggling with both arms. But that person, they have a lot more outer strength. But I got a lot of inner strength. But they had to develop their inner strength. And then they had to focus on what's truly important. It's like they needed to open up their eyes so that they could see the fake in others. Everything is falling for this person because these cards keep falling to the ground. Everything is falling. This whole setup that they was part of, it's all falling. It's all crumbling. Because this person, they didn't see all those red flags. It's like they took whatever somebody said and they took it like law. But this, that was short term. These people thought that this person was going to be there forever, but that was short term. This person had to realize that the devil had whispered in their ear. But they, at the same time, they were a willing participant. It's like somebody was telling them, you should be jealous of her. That you should be jealous of this empress. You should be jealous of this guy because, they got it like they always had it easy. Hell, you never had it easy. Everybody was ganging the fuck up against you. They wanted this person to be jealous of you because you live by one rule. And that's what anybody else thinks. You don't give a fuck. They was not liking you in the beginning. They said they was not going to like you in the end. So who the fuck gives a fuck about somebody not liking you in the middle? Nobody. They thought that money was going to make them happy. It wasn't money. It was what they had on the inside. It was their heart. It was their soul. It was their connection with God. See, this hitman has now turned on the boss. And see, they realize they put themselves in this mess and they're going to have to get themselves out. Save yourself. That's what somebody had to realize. It was time to save themselves. All right, y'all. I need to make myself something to eat. I appreciate you all joining. And we'll be back. Hey, Diesel Gravy. Oh, thank you. That's right. Only you can make you happy, sure, for sure. Hey, Sydney. Angelina. I'll be back, y'all. I just need to get something to eat. Oh, thank you so very much, High Priestess. And Gia Pet, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let me let this little girl outside. Go on, girl. Go on, go on. No, go. Go. All right, y'all. I'll be back in a little bit. I love y'all.